Today we are watching all the best records from the Trackmania Spring campaign. For the past 3 months, players have competed on these 25 maps and optimized the world records to an absurd degree. So much so that I think we might need another decimal placement in the timer. But you'll see what I mean when we get into it. Let's start with map 1. On map 1, there is a bit of a gap in the records, but that is only because Lord Quacked has driven a mental time on this map. 2034 here is just crazy. I'm recording this video about 5 days before the campaign ends, so I could get some of the records wrong, you could say, by being a bit early, but this one is not getting beaten. Clean inside line into quantum slide up the hill, no sliding and speed sliding at the same time, getting a wobble to dodge the penalty, and inside ending. The others would love to go for the same trajectory, but since their no slide was different here in this turn, they simply do not have the line for it. If they try to go inside now, they wouldn't be speed sliding to the finish, and so it would be slower for them. So Quack getting perfect quantum slide into inside line takes map 1. But other than that, look how close it was between Lima, Hobbit, and Amelius. And you'll see this be a pattern throughout the tracks today. Map 02, massive gap, but otherwise very close. Lima here with a 21.99, the only player to get under 22 seconds as of right now. And they've found 2 tiny shortcuts here. The first one is jumping between the trees to the left to reduce airtime. Then they speed slide. Lima has just a tiny bit more speed than the others, maybe half a speed advantage. And then here, instead of going wide like Hobbit, you can thread the needle between the 2 arrows, and that way take a more direct line to the finish. You can see Hobbit here, this record is older. He went around the arrows, kept them pretty closely, but then around the arrows and lost a lot of time to the others. So that's a cute little find. I wonder if they waited until like the last days of the campaign to hunt it, or it just happened to be discovered then. But anyway, now we get into what I'm talking about. Map 03. Played by 400,000 players, world records an exact tie to the 1000th. Crude and Oxo, same exact time, and it could have been a triple tie with plus Piraten as well. Take a look at this, right? Both runs are extremely precise as well. It's not like they just happened upon a tie. It really seems like there isn't that much more time to gain, especially with the cruise control here too. Oxo may be a few thousandths behind, now coming back, is ahead into the last corner, but then as they cross the line, look at this. It is an exact tie. Had we had a 10,000th of a second, I would wager that it's gonna be Oxo winning by a few 10,000ths. It looks like he's ahead, right? But Crude got the time first, so he remains on top of the leaderboard. And this is not the only tie in this campaign. Miraculously enough, there are several. Map 04 here I thought would have a tie, but it just has an absurd world record again. That means no one else got close. And it is by #1 Real fan. 7,000ths on this map is a massive margin, and especially when you look at the gap down to 3rd place too, because there really is not a lot of time to gain on this map. It's just precision. So take a look at this. What you'll notice is that #1 Real fan gains almost all the time to the others up the first hill. Look at the difference here between Riolufan and Crude, right? His wheel is here, Crude's wheel is like here. This is a massive gap. The way he gained this time, guys, is fascinating if you haven't seen this. If we go back to the very start, notice on the input display, as the timer hits 0, #1 Riolufan is not accelerating. And that is because some years ago, it was found out that it's faster to wait until 0.01 on the timer. Look at the bottom display. At 0.01 on the timer, if you accelerate then, for whatever reason, the car, when it shifts up to 2nd gear at 100 speed, does it 1 frame sooner. So you get 2nd gear 1 frame sooner. What this does though is that it means hunting the map is very tedious because you spend most of the time resetting for the start countdown, and then afterwards you still have to execute an insanely precise run. But #1 Riolufan was able to do both of those things, and I know it's hard to see when there's a lot of cars on the track, so let's just admire the precision here. Riolufan on his own, close to the first 2 apexes, sense that one, can't get closer there, wide setup here to get this one and those two apexes. Close here, a little bit wide to dive into the last turn and smooth them out. That's just a fascinatingly optimized record. Map 05 is dirt. Who do you think has the world record on a dirt no slide map? 25 seconds. Of course, Lord Quacked. Hobbit and Bobo did get pretty close here, but for the past couple of campaigns, Lord Quacked has not let these ones slip. He wants to remain the dirt quantum slide god, and he still keeps his top spot. Here on this map, I've always found it fascinating. They go out on the outside and they eat the gear. I don't know if you caught that, but they got a very slow gear shift up to 5th. Typically, you want to stop steering when the car is about to gear up, except here there's just no way around it. You just eat the gear and then steer again, and Lord Quack does it the best of them all. Map 06, for how simple this map is, also one of the most dominating performances I've ever seen. Hobbit 600ths ahead. You will see, this is just a crazy run. Just a crazy run. It's plastic precision. My first impression of this map was GG Hobbit when I saw it, because Hobbit is just very good on plastic. But like, look how close he goes on each of these slaloms. And that grip in the last turn also. Like this here. That is insane. That is insane. 600ths of a lead. Really impressive how fast people can go. Map 07. There's a 3,000th gap between Vogincha and Exosum. Vogincha, I realized a lot of people might not know, but he's one of the best tech players in Trackmania Nations Forever. And cool to see him play Trackmania 2020 as well. Legend of the game. Exosum as well comes from Trackmania Nations Forever. Different lines by the two. Vogincha has less speed. Exosum equalizes at the next corner. Vogincha ahead. Exo inside line. Oh my, that could have been another tie. Like, actually, this is very close to a tie. It's 3,000ths of a gap, but is it really? Well, to get more into detail, like, Trackmania runs at 100 ticks per second, so it only checks what time you have every 100th of a second. So it checks, have you finished now at 26:25? No. It checks, have you finished at 26:26? No. Have you finished by 26:27? Yes. And then it checks how far over the finish line was your car at that time, and then interprets 1,000th of a second. So, knowing that, like, I think the reason Vogincha wins this is only because he has more speed. So by the next 100th, like, they're equal here. So, like, they are equal here, but if you go forwards 100th, then it might be that Vogincha is a tiny bit ahead, and that's why he gets the interpreted faster run. But it's still, guys, it's pretty crazy that we're at this level where ties like that are likely to happen. Map 08, no tie on this one. Just insane records. So early on in the campaign, we had a shortcut, sort of a shortcut, where what you would do is you would go forwards, crash into the hill here, and then get a reactor flight towards the finish. And then things happened and things quickly got out of hand. World record right now by Cam by 0.2 of a second. Take a look at this. So in the downhill, they get a seemingly bad wobble. It's like kind of wobbling out of control. But it's all in order to bounce, land backwards, reactor up, zoop twice towards the finish. Backwards is faster on this map. I don't really have a good ghost here, so take mine. I'm driving forwards, right? The backwards turn is sharper, and then they also get reactor up instead of down. So they just zoop with a bunch of speed towards the finish. So 08, one of the fascinating ones. And there are also some more shortcuts in the campaign, though they happen on some of the later maps. Map 09 here, world record by Cobalt. 3 thousandths ahead of Hobbit, very close. Here, guys, Nadeo's #1 nemesis makes a return. A trick they long thought they had squashed and eradicated from the game, but they did not manage yet. The ice wiggle is back. Not sure you're really noticing it going on since the tires are white, but Cobalt here is wiggling. 80%, now 60%, 60%, double tap, and this builds speed. It's especially powerful in downhills, people have figured out. Like, when the car is already struggling with grip, if you wiggle, it's much more powerful. So that's things like bobsleigh exits, things like ice downhills. That's where you can really wiggle and gain a bunch. And he gains towards Hobbit, 3 thousandths ahead. Map 10. Oh boy. Another tie. Another tie. Yeah. Guys, what do we do about this? Socrat and Clumpy with the same time. Now, this comes a little bit from the fact that with certain cars and certain finish placements, certain decimals are more likely, so that's why you could end up with ties more frequently, but still, it's pretty insane. 2 of the first 10 maps both have a tie, and there could have been more. But yeah, here with Snowcar, I think a .0 is a very likely decimal to get. Other than that, we should also notice the run here, very precise. Like, Socrat, one of the best Snowcar players. Clumpy, impressive that he keeps up. Just precise, smooth lines, a ramp cut here through the cherry blossom. And then, yeah, smooth nose slide to the finish. Map 11, I made a bet here with Carl Jr. that the NASCAR players would beat him and Pac on the map. Carl Jr. has a time of 1:03.99, I believe. Maniac and Dopamine have pushed this to a 1:03.7. Dopamine and Devil, 2 of the world's best NASCAR players. Maniac, incredible himself, though more of an all-rounder. Just marvel at the precision here with me. Maniac goes a bit more inside line. Devil and Dopamine sets up wide. That's more what you need in the second lap, so Maniac remains a little bit ahead up until these turns. Here is where it starts getting crazy, because they have 500 speed, they go into an auto slide, speed slide a little bit on the exits, release once, and then full speed through the next corners. Sending it towards the multi-lap, full grip down the hill, and now the hardest turn on the map, set up wide, release once, and send it, hope you make it through the turns. Get wide again, release once, full send, and these timings all have to be perfect, right, to preserve all the speed you can. Maniac here very far ahead, speed slide. He had a world record recently where he was this far ahead but then choked it in the ending. He does lose a little bit of time to the others, but he preserves his lead. Insane record. Map 12, this one didn't really have a shortcut, but it has a trick that makes the leaderboard look like it's been shortcut, and that is because you can get a very important gear shift. Every Trackmania YouTuber and their mom keeps going on about gear shifts and how important they are, but look at this. By driving the start perfectly, you can exit the rally car in 4th gear as you're going to stadium car. So 5th place here did not have the gear shift, and just look at how much time he loses. 3rd gear now instead of 4th, and here, when he shifts, the others are just pulling away. It's not got to do with the drift, it's not got to do with... It's just the gear up, so... Back on board with Surfall after a perfect start. Nice nosedive onto the dirt. Crazy setup for the drift too. Beautiful precision. Wiggle a bit over the penalty to keep more speed with Rally Car. And with Rally Car, you should know that if you see skid marks behind the car car can actually steer more without sliding out. It's the best play with the Rally Car. Aside from building up speed with the Rally Car, getting the skid marks, that's a sharper turn than what is usually possible. And we're out here by 0.1 for that last turn. Like, Cobalt is pretty much keeping up here, but this is an insane ending by Surfall. And it just gains so much. So, insane run. Alright, map 13. This one has a shortcut of sorts, a cheeky one. The bobsleigh players were able to get around 32.3 if memory serves me right. 31.9 is shortcut. So I'm gonna show you that first. So Glider here, what he does is small nose slide, building up a bunch of speed. Now backwards, reactor up, zoop into the wall, and then full speed down the hill. Like, that's the shortcut. There's nothing else to it. It's just you get more speed into the bobsleighs. It's a very strange shortcut idea. But it works. I wonder what the best... these are all gonna be shortcut runs. What's the best no-cut time? Like, let me add 50th place or something just to give you a comparison. Alright guys, so this is one of the best bobsleigh players, Flu. And look at Glider now. So he goes backwards, gets that zoop. Flu is ahead by a lot, but he just does not have the speed. And speed on bobsleigh is a very valuable asset. You just don't lose it. So yeah, that's the shortcut on this map. It's just so powerful to reactor zoop backwards into the wall to have this space to now accelerate down with. Crazy idea. Crazy that it works. Map 14, Sabo Jr. with the world record ahead of Hobby. Gonna add Jaffa as well to the comparison, the top 3. We are in no slide land, as most dirt maps and campaigns are nowadays. Though there is some regular driving too, but anywhere you can, you do these tiny snaps. This last turn is really beautiful. Wide landing, up on the outside, speed slide down. Yeah, just clean, precise execution. Not much to comment on. Map 15 had some nice tricks. Crude with the world record, 100th ahead of Hobbit. And we will see a shortcut on the start. No slide on the plastic, through the triangle to steer less. Now a no airtime trick here. Tight inside line to the booster. And then there's one more trick in the ending. It's engine off, it's plastic. It should be very slidey, but they wall bang to prevent the slide from happening while getting a good turn. And then inside line to the finish. Also nice runs. Map 16, not a shortcut, but a cool trick. Several cool tricks, in fact. Kovalch again, a player who's really stepped up this campaign, I feel. This is his 3rd world record. So you wall hit the pillar in the start for a bit of speed gains. Here, bug slide, exit to 3rd gear, no slide. And a bunch of speed carried from that. Through the upside down part. And a little bit wide here, so that you get 2nd gear, 4th gear down the hill, 200 speed. And then in the ending, you want to go fast enough that you can get an inside line, the reactor pulling you down. Makes that possible without airtime. And smooth turn to the finish. We're at this point in Trackmania where everything's optimized, it feels like. So if you get a 10th, that's crazy. Like you're 40 seconds tech and you've got 3 players within a few hundredths. Carl Jr. I really thought would have this world record, but he hasn't hunted it much since. He's gotten obsessed for beating Trackmania unbeaten author times, which we're all happy with. Carl has pulled a lot of effort for that project. So it's Overt Line who got the one. And it's a really beautiful run here. Miguelinho and Mawil also have great runs, but here in the ending, Overt Lion gets better drifts, more speed through there, and the last turn full speed is so difficult to not fly off the map, but he makes it. Another attack map here, Mawil, with the world record. Loso as well with the fantastic time. So many people theorized about a loop shortcut here, it didn't happen. There's also theories about potential other skips. Nothing worked out. Normal way got to remain. But there is a nice little line that they do in the ending. Inside pillars, you'll see it here. Different setup for Maui to facilitate it. Good drift, and then full right, and you can get on the inside of the pillar, which gains a little bit of time. Now guys, look at this. Rinta with half a second lead, the only player to pull off a shortcut. Look at this, I mean, 1 second down to 5th place. It has to be an insane shortcut that Rinta got, right? Like, you cannot just gain this amount of time on the others without a shortcut. A shortcut, surely. But then you start to realize that maybe you can. Maybe there is no shortcut. Maybe the shortcut is just being extremely skilled at alt cars and perfectly weaving the car through these turns. Keeping full grip with 4 tires by tapping everywhere it's possible. And then one quick, like, moment on the 2 side wheels and then flat again. Rinta on desert car, guys, is basically unbeatable. Synthetics is a very good desert car player, but if you look at the comparison, he's just losing a little bit of time in every segment. Rinta just carrying more speed. Looks like they're not in the same division, and this is like, at the moment, rank 1 and 2 on desert car. Just silly how fast Rinta is on desert. So, yeah, this world record was always going to be his, but the question was by how much, and now we see it. Half a second is the gap. Map 20 Speed Slide Simulator Zimzalabim with the world record. A full speed player who usually doesn't get the hype he deserves. Very, very good. But he's not Mudda, and he's not Ans, and he's not Josh. So maybe you don't think of him as one of the GOATs, but this record is extremely good. Like, road speed slides are the hardest to be good at. Requires more precise overlap. And along with that, this map requires some really precise jumps. That one out to the left, and now there's one more where you skip a little bit of penalty grass, which Zim got perfectly here. Landing so early there for this last speed slide through the tube, straighten, and into the finish. Alright, and now we have the competitive maps, the black tracks. So these ones, you might think they're boring, but in this campaign they actually had so many shortcuts. Like, this is where most of the campaign shortcuts this time around happened. So let's watch Haskell, who got this one. I mean, this map, in terms of cut proofing, it was a bit of a dumpster fire. There were so many things that you could do to gain time. They built this map with the idea that you should drive backwards. But not only do you not have to drive backwards, you can skip the entire section. So Haskell here, he lands backwards. And then you're supposed to drive down the road, but here they just turn around, go beneath the spectator stands and straight to the platform, up the hill, and then there's one more reversing section where they found out that that's absolutely not how you have to do it, but you can turn around. Thornburn and Giuliano keeping up. They jump through. And then here on the grass they can just, again, turn around. Thank you, Nadeo. Beautiful drift by Haskell, carry all that speed, and finish 109. The best times in competitive here were, was it 110 high, I think? Yeah, 110.6, so all of that only gains really 1 second, which is pretty crazy. Right, map 2, South Korea. Link, one of the only players that went back to the campaign version to hunt this. Most people only hunted the competitive version that got a few quality of life updates, but you do wonder, right, what kind of time people have offline that they haven't shared, because not a lot of people want to share their best strats, their best lines ahead of the very important EWC for the players. It's the biggest prize pool in the game's history, so a lot of them are, even if they want to claim a world record and get a couple of pats on the back in the community, they prefer to keep their times hidden. But Link here just hunting for the vibes, trying to get some campaign records. He did get some other ones too. So here through the grass, keeping fourth, then sharp drift. And his ending on this run is really quick. Get the reactor zoop. One more early zoop there, doesn't fall so far back in the track. And again, an early one, 1:12.07. This is faster than any other known time on the map. We had a 1:12.20 by Alcon, during the Elite Cup, but that was now beaten by a lot. Canada with a 101.90 by Propanoia, 101.92 by Stifts. Thing here is there was an undone reactor boost shortcut that nobody got throughout the campaign. It was theorized by a player called Jacob, but nobody managed to get it. Seems really difficult, so that might be a project for later if someone wants to hunt it. But yeah, here, just precision again, carrying 4th gear while releasing. It's a big crunch point. But this is one of my favorite competitive maps to date. Like, this one is going to be a lot of fun to spectate because the rounds are very close. There we had a left turn, guys, and now into another left turn, ending with a right turn by the looks of it to the finish. Wow. This is the analysis that you guys all watch and subscribe for. Amazing. Alright, now for some fireworks at the end of the video here. Australia. Guys, this map has a beautiful shortcut, and how fitting that the top 2 players are indeed Australian. They decided to hunt it to reclaim this map for their country, so Nova and Linkmax with great runs here. The shortcut happens already after this loop, so look out to the right. Instead of driving that track over there, they do this. Bounce on the wall, bounce on another wall, stand on the nose and accelerate to keep grip and carry 4th gear. And then you can drive the rest of the track as intended. But doing it that perfectly is very hard, and now you still have 45 seconds of driving to execute. Nova gets the slalom drifts a bit better than Link. Set up wide here to keep 4th again. Nova with the inside line down the hill. Link therefore getting a bit more speed towards the last full speed part. Gap about 500ths. And then 3rd gear kept here by Nova with the inside line, very beautifully done. And now onto the agility dash identity. On plastic, just precise at every corner, and Nova with a basically perfect run with the shortcut. This is the type of stuff that I get they have to ban it. I get Nadeo doesn't want this in competitive, but imagine the hype if someone goes for something like this and lands it in match. Like, this is just sick. Just insane if someone were to do that in match. Beautiful runs. And the last map of the Trackmania Spring campaign was Hungary. Link with the world record here too. He, like I said, hunted a lot of these in the campaign, where most people might keep their pace secret. And his run here, same as in South Korea, does make you wonder if anyone has a sub 59. You can see there's some hundredths to gain on him in the start, but his ending is very, very good. Speed into the loop, sets up wide on the dirt, and then drives that outside all the way through. Here, just a close drift. Low jump up to the platform. So much more speed for what it's worth against the other top players. And now the ending of Hungary. Onto the beams of reps is where this one is based on. And then smooth line and clipping the corner to bounce into the finish. Yeah, guys, that are the Spring campaign records. I wish we had more shortcuts, you know. The campaigns do feel a little incomplete with the 5 black tracks replaced by the 5 competitive maps. I wish they'd make it 30 tracks, so 25 plus the 5 esport maps, then we'd have a bit more campaign going on, it would feel like. But overall, really precise runs this time around. Some ties, which, you know, with the way they count time now, it's going to be very hard to make an extra decimal point, but maybe we could hope for in the future, like accurate timing down to the 10,000th or something. Who knows? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys live for the new campaign on my stream, 1st of July at 5 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So, see you guys then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.